accepts all of me. There's no judgment ever in anything I do, the way I talk, the way I act, the way I dress. I never thought I would find someone who accepted all of me, and that is what Matt does.
I read something somewhere ages ago that if you fall in love with someone's eyes, you'll love them forever. And if there was anything I had to pick, I love Caitlin's eyes, for sure. Yeah. Her unfiltered, absolute, funniest thing on earth laugh is amazing. And I love it. It's super unique. I've never ever heard anyone else with a laugh like that. She hates it, but I know that it is one of the best things about her, and it makes her so unique, and it's another reason why I love her, that's for sure. So, Kate and I met through the Classic, or what is slowly becoming the Classic, through Tinder. When I swiped right on her just for a normal match, it came up and said that she'd super liked me. And so from the get-go, I was like, we're on, this is awesome, like I'll organize a date and we'll go from there. And that's pretty much what happened. We ended up organizing a dinner at a place near my mum and dad's called Billy Cart. And yeah, I suppose the rest is history.
The second I saw him, I was just like, I was giddy. I felt like I was like a 5-year-old with a schoolyard crush. No matter any of the previous boyfriends, I never had that kind of heart-stopping moment. And with Matt, as soon as I saw him, I had that, and it was overwhelming.
Definitely something I'd never been through before, that's for sure. Like I'd never been on a first date like that, or meeting someone for the first date like that. I remember coming home actually after, and I came home to Mum, and I remember saying to her, it's game over. Like this is a done deal, 100%. I was like, she's funny, she laughs, she can hold a conversation, she knows exactly what to say, when to say it. She looked gorgeous, and yeah, I was very, very smitten. 100%.
And I was like, I'm not going to get my hopes up. I'm not going to get heartbroken. So I was like, I can see this going somewhere. And then at the end of the date, I was like, no, this is the last person I want to go on my first date with.
At the end of the night when I dropped you home, that was kind of when the sparks flew and I knew that there was something different. That was when we had our first kiss. I said, explicitly when we meet if we want to maybe have a quick hug or just say hi, but I explicitly said no handshakes. Handshakes for me are one of the most awkward things on earth, especially when it's someone you don't know.
He wasn't going to make the first move. I knew it, I could see it in his eyes. He was just sitting there like, yeah, that's the end of the date. Get out of my car now. And I was like, well,
I was nervous.
Can't end a date with no kiss. How am I supposed to know if I want a second date?
The very next thing she did was stick her hand out and say, thanks for the night. And I did a big eye roll and was like, oh my God, what did I tell you? And she had a massive smile on her face because she knew. And she held her hand there anyway, and I put my hand out and she grabbed my hand and pulled me into her. And gave me a big kiss on the lips. And that was how that was our first kiss. This is our lovely little boy, Napoleon.
One of them.
Yes, one of them, Polo for short. He was the first little kitty for us to get, the second being Marco. Obviously the love of our life, but also the bane of our existence. Definitely a unique character, but would not swap him for the world. Our quality time together is just being in each other's space.
I will be on one end of the couch reading a book. He'll be on the other end with his phone.
Or I'll put something on the TV.
Streaming a video game.
Or something like that.
Person.
Yeah.
Or play the Switch or build
yeah.
Lego. Most of our time is just being near each other, but not necessarily talking.
I suppose if we're talking about our similarities, that is one of our similarities, that we both enjoy our own time to do our own thing, but we like to do that in each other's presence.
If we don't feel like being at home on our weekends off together, we'll jump in the car and go find fish and chips somewhere and
Yeah.
just do something spontaneous, whether it be ramen at Toowong or down to the coast.
We went for a walk through the rainforest, and at the end of the rainforest walk is a lookout. And funny enough, Kate just walked straight to the end of the lookout platform, had the ring, and she stood there and just took in the view for maybe like 10 seconds, which was plenty of time for me to get down behind her, pop the ring box open, and said my little bit, and will you marry me? And she said nothing.
I thought it was the weirdest feeling ever because the boys were acting weird because Matt's like huddling over, like holding himself. Turns out Jake's passing him the ring as I'm walking ahead of them. I turn around and he's crouched over because he's tried to put the ring in his pants and it's half slipped out, and I'm just thinking they're fighting. And then we get to the lookout and I go to the end and I'm pretty sure I black out. Because I should have said more words.
She just put her hands up to her mouth and literally just cried. And I kind of stayed on my knee for a minute and hesitated to stand up because I was like, she shook her head yes, but I was like, well, do you want to say yes?
He needed a verbal agreement.
And then yeah, she actually said the word yes, and then I stood up and gave her a big hug, and she, cried and cried and cried. Yeah, it was a very special moment, very, very special.
After everything settled and I got over the initial shock, it was just, we stood up and we danced together to the song that Matt had chosen for our first dance, and it was just love. Like there's nothing else to explain. It was just love, unconditional love.
I always get emotional thinking about the Isle song. Every song we've picked, I've pretty much cried to. I've cried listening to the Isle song, picturing her walking down the aisle. I've cried listening to our first dance song, picturing us dancing together, watching Kate walk down the aisle. It's a pretty safe bet that the waterworks will be flowing, for sure.